Hey Danielle, we are
Hello.
talking today about those three little words we love to hear, and every realtor and every buyer and seller loves to hear more than anything else in the world. What is it?
Clear close.
Clear to close. Clear to close is our favorite. It's probably your favorite too. And we're talking about setting expectations with sellers. So this is part of our seller series, and sellers often have the idea, and I'm sure you tell them this, we tell them this, but they can only hear so much at once, and it's really hard to absorb everything that's going on in a transaction. So they think those pre-approved buyers who came to them with a pre-approval are, that's signed, sealed, and delivered, and they're going to close. Well, any of us who have done this for a while know that that's not true. There are things that can happen. There's things that aren't done ahead of time. We've had lenders lie to us and say that they pulled somebody's credit, and they obviously didn't. Um, we've had lenders say that they verified employment and found out that $40,000 of somebody's income was a bonus that couldn't be used, couldn't be counted on. Um,
Or even my infamous buy that purchase that never happened of my personal property where the lender didn't do the math correctly and how long when I was eligible for the loan.
yeah.
I had no idea. It was before I was in real estate. I didn't know.
Well,
I trusted
and
the
who
professional.
would, unless they were an expert, which is what you would rely on your lender for. So
Absolutely.
we as realtors have to rely on a lender's word that somebody's pre-approved. Then we call them and we ask questions like, we say, did you verify employment? Did you get W-2s? Did you pull their credit? And oh, did you run it through automated underwriting? Is one of the things I ask. So there are pre-approvals we've gotten where I've had another lender look at their stuff and say, there's no way this went through automated underwriting. It would have caught this. We would have known that these buyers were unable to close. So sellers, even we have a hard time understanding how somebody gets through, and all the things that can happen when underwriting gets a hold of their file and starts digging through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we want to, we kind of did shout out about, having an idea of what these people do too, as far as where this income is coming from, um, helps. Like, ask more questions. If they happen to, we've been talking about, people who are self-employed or paid cash and all this other things that, even if they tell the lender they make X, well, they only report, 10% of their tips instead of, all of it, or, whatever the minimum is, for tax reasons. And so you have to really, hope that they've thought that through too.
Yeah,
That's a
or
hurdle.
someone who, as an independent contractor, might have a business where they have, they're legitimate write-offs, but everybody has part of that is personal, part of it's business, but I can write it off, so I'm going to take that.
Well, we
And
all are independent contractors, right? We know how it goes. We're like,
exactly.
yeah, I did that many miles.
You
I
want to
think
lower that tax
I'm not
liability.
really
It's not
good at
always lying. It's not, we're not really saying people who commit tax fraud, but there's times when you just might want to show more income and pay more taxes in order to qualify for a higher mortgage.
correct.
So, it's perfectly legitimate to take those write-offs and lower your taxable income, but you need to know that that's going to impact your ability to borrow for a home.
Correct. But yeah, I mean, clear to close is one of those things where, um, we have to tell the clients it's important, it's us, because we're really rolling the dice. When you, especially in this market where you have so many different, um, offers and so many different things people have waived and contingencies and promises that lenders have made, um, you know, clear to close is like, did we do the right thing? did we, or did we lose 3 or 4 weeks of market time, or potential other backups in that time? So clear to close to me is like, okay,
Right.
this is going to close. All right, we're not starting over. We're not scrambling backwards. We've made it.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've all heard horror stories where you got the clear to close and then the buyer did something to screw it up. That can still happen. There's an old saying that it's not closed until it's closed. It really means it is not closed until it's closed. I heard one horror story that happened at the closing table where the lender checked one more time and found that the buyer had bought on credit a whole house full of new furniture for the new house that they thought they were buying that they no longer qualified for because they screwed up their debt to income or something. So
buyer's agents have to keep repeating to their clients, don't quit your job. Don't buy anything on credit. Don't open up a score credit card to save 10% at Kohl's or Home Goods or whatever, or Home Depot. Even if you don't put anything on a credit card, even if you're not making a big purchase. If you went there to get 3 gallons of paint for $150,
3 t-shirts, and you can save an extra 20% at Kohl's if you open a freaking credit card. Don't do it. Tell them, and tell them again and again and again, because of course the lenders tell them. They hammer it into their heads. But you're standing in line at Kohl's and they ask and they say they're going to save you some money. Sometimes that can be tempting. So people think, oh no, I thought it was just if I, charged a lot. So many things can screw up the lending side of it. So we want to make sure that we're setting expectations with our sellers, that they understand that any of this can happen anytime, that it's not that we didn't do our jobs. It's not that we didn't ask the right questions. It's not that we didn't pick the right offer, but it's just not sure. By the time we get clear to close, it's 90. I mean, in our experience, I would say I've never had something not close after clear to close. It does happen. So maybe 99%.
I know, either have I.
So there we are. Next week, we're talking about some packing tips. Let us know if you have any that you'd like to share. And we're going to talk about next steps toward closing, which is a little bit different in all of our markets. In our market, sellers need to be out typically the day before closing, completely out, house empty, broom clean, ready for the buyers to have their final walkthrough and move in.
Absolutely. So, until next weekend.
Next week.